just stay humble. Simple as that. To be fair, stage managers know everything, even what you did last night.
Hello, and welcome to the Theatre Art Life podcast, sponsored by Harlequin Floors, world leader in floors, stage systems, and studio equipment for the performing arts. The Theatre Art Life podcast puts the spotlight on those who create live entertainment around the world, the culture creators, the backstage masters. My name is Ana Aguilera.
And my name is Anna Robb. On this episode, we are talking all things stage management with Igor Kobelev.
Igor takes us on a journey of his humble roots as a vinyl-loving boy from Moldova to landing his first dream job working with Cirque du Soleil. Based in the United Arab Emirates, Igor has had extensive exposure to a variety of clients from diverse backgrounds in the areas of events and project management. Hi, Igor. Welcome.
Hi, ladies. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining the Theatre Art Life podcast. We want to start with telling our audience where you are exactly right now and what you're doing.
In lovely Jeddah. I've been working on a quick, it's a hybrid. It's not an event, it's not in a show, but it is a show called Fusion by Cirque de Soleil. We've been here since the beginning of April. Had about 3 weeks of pre-production, and now we're in operation phase where we premiered on the 2nd of May, and we're going to be running the show till 28th of May. Friday, Saturday, weekends, 2 shows a day, and the rest would be one show day with 1 day off. So pretty good run, yeah.
And how's the audience in Jeddah enjoying the show?
It's something else. Honestly, when we premiered and we had, I think the capacity of the venue, since we use half of it as the audience seating and another half is the back of the house. So I think we're limited to about 2,500 people. And I think the maximum that we got is 2,350 at this stage. And they're loving it. I've never seen or heard the artist absorb that much energy. So it's really fun to. I think you get goosebumps. Even I'm not on stage; I'm backstage, right? We're just hiding behind the curtain that we open and close. But you get the sense of it, and it's lovely. I think that the crowd here is. I don't know. It's something similar to the first Cirque show that you watch, or the first that very very first entertainment that you indulge yourself in, And for different individuals, it can be different age, right? So for some of us, we're blessed with it, and we're doing it in the early days, when our parents take us to circus or to watch a movie, but in this region, Saudi opened up only a few years ago, so I'm sure they're loving it, and we can hear it. We can definitely hear it. That's for sure.
I was actually going to ask if you could tell us where Jeddah is in the world in the map, and what makes crowds so special, or why are reacting like so.
Well, Saudi is a special region, right? Saudi Arabia. It is based in the Middle East. Their main religion is Islam. Riyadh is the capital of Saudi Arabia, and Jeddah is closer to the Red Sea. So it's not as humid. It's still hot. And things have been changing in the region for the last couple of years, It's not mandatory it's my first time in Saudi. I've worked in Qatar before. I've been in Dubai for 12 years. So I think that things started changing when King Salman came to power, and he allowed women to remove hijab, to drive the cars. I think a lot of women are in the government as well. Yeah, Saudis. I think a lot of countries where, let's say, Australia or US or even Dubai, the entertainment has been there for quite some time. And here they're just opening up the doors for it. And I think that Cirque had quite a few contracts here, and all of them were greeted quite warmly. So,
yeah, because there was film was banned in Saudi Arabia. Cinemas were banned in Saudi Arabia for how many? Over 35 years, I think. And it was only in 2018 that they started showing films in the cinema again. So that's kind of landscape. That's like a massive milestone. And I was there the day that women were allowed to drive. That was a trip. So it's a very great evolving city. So it's good. And so if we rewind a little bit, how did you personally get into this industry, you're into stage management, and the pathway to now working for Cirque?
Oh, do you want a long version or a short version?
We'll take the abbreviated
Short's fine.
It all started, my first job as a stage manager was through Event Lab. It's an agency based in Dubai, and I'm really close with Nadim and Murad, and I still think that Nadim was always the person that looked out for me, and he put my name forward for a show called The Bang that was produced by Showtime Entertainment Production in Dubai Parks in I think it was 2016, if I'm not mistaken. So that was my first gig as a stage manager. And then I stayed with Showtime Entertainment Production as a stage manager for a season in Global Village. But it was completely different, you know. It was the name of the show was Speed Chase Action, and there was a lot of stunt cars involved, drifting, FMX, 360 backspins, a lot of fighting and stunts. So it was a spicy little cracker.
And then from there, you became a stage manager, and that was it?
No, I mean, what happened was that was the beginning of the journey. And as I was closing that season, I got a call for an interview for La Pearl as assistant stage manager for the pre-production phase. And this is where it all picked up, and everything got picked up a notch, let's say. And it was the first residential show in Dubai, and that's where things started happening pretty quick. And I was blessed with an A team, which maybe I took for granted for a little while. But yeah, I worked with a lot of great individuals. Philip Flechter was our GSM, and we had a wonderful team. Miguel was a part of this podcast. Dane Evan, worked with him. Janet. So from the pre-production phase, where I worked directly for Dragon, I got offered a full-time position to join the operations. 4 years later, I moved on to Expo, and from there, got this gig with Cirque, with Jorge and Dane. So
I know Jorge. Yeah, he's been on our podcast as well.
Yep.
Question: what was the Dubai Expo experience like? What did I mean? There was lots of stage managers in working on Expo throughout those 6 months. What was that like, and what was your day to day?
The Expo was there were so many things going on, and I was contracted by Artists in Motion that were in charge of the projection in Al Wasl Plaza, and we had mainly night shows, you know, because the projection can only work when the sun goes down. So from 6:30 onwards, it was us. We had underwater show, we had puppet show, interactive, just to name a few. So I think we were one of the first companies that were on site and working in Dubai outside in June, July, August with humidity levels that are skyrocketing. And you know, by the end, at the end of the shift, when you're done with whatever it was, a 10-hour day, a 12-hour day, an 8-hour day, depending on how lucky you are, when you enter into the exhibition hall, you know, only then you realize that you might want to change your T-shirt, most probably, and have a nice long shower when you're back home, you know.
Everybody sweated their body weight of water out every day.
You gotta hydrate, you know.
You've mentioned, not during the interview, but before in previous conversations we've had, the influence that your parents had in your upbringing and how that led into stage management. At least characteristics that I would at times say that are very you, for example, like you're the master of time, like stage managers are, but you, like, nothing escapes you pretty much.
I was actually reflecting on it a couple of days back when I was doing a little prep for this interview, and I had no idea. Like, when you look back at it, we are who we are because our parents had a significant impact on us being raised the way they raised us. So I just realized that, like I was supposed to be, initially, I was supposed to be a third generation of an army man because my grandfather, he went through the Second World War. My dad, he went through Afghan War when USSR went there, and I was supposed to be the third one, but something went the right way, let's say, and here I am entertaining people instead. So I guess that the keeping and like those little like attention to details. So I think I got it from him, and the sense that artistic flair or the artistic side of things, I got it from my mom because she would look after us, and there was always this gentle touch that I think transformed into something bigger, which I wasn't aware, but I think that the parents definitely they definitely have an impact on every individual. It's just that if we have time to reflect and sit back and look at it, maybe some people will find similarities. For me, it worked out. If you asked me 15 years ago, Igor, you're going to be in Jeddah and you're going to be giving this interview for Theater at Life, I would tell you that no way. But looking back at it now, and my father contributed to the fact that I'm good in timekeeping, and my mom was just if we rewind a little bit as well, I used to work in a shop called Terra Nova, and my mom would always invest her time in the style, the way because. Just for a little bit of context, back in the day when USSR broke, it was definitely an experience, and people had no idea how to dress themselves, and there was always this perception of an individual coming from USSR, and I think that the generation that was right behind me, were our parents. They were on the forefront of when the things were changing. I think that I've managed to catch the wave with the way that my mom would treat us, with the music taste, with the little vinyl player that she used to play for me when I was young. So I think it makes a difference, and I'm really fortunate to have my parents that contributed to this.
Amazing. And what was your, like, you grew up in Moldova, and what was the impetus to move to the Middle East? What was the catalyst for you to go to that part of the world to work?
Well, from Moldova, I moved to Kazakhstan for 6 months, and then from there I moved to Moscow. And initially, I came from F&B background, so I remember I worked all my life pretty much. So when I was graduating from high school, I was doing the courses for a bartender and a waiter, and so I was in that field for quite some time. And I don't know if anyone heard or not, but there used to be, and still is, there's this Japanese restaurant called Nobu. It's a Japanese Peruvian fusion. They were opening up a branch in Moscow.
They're everywhere, yeah.
They're everywhere, and they're doing the hotels now, and they're doing pretty good. So what happened was that the general manager from Nobu Dubai, he visited us because I was a part of the pre-opening of Nobu Moscow, and he just told me that if ever you wanna move to Dubai, you speak English, you speak Russian, just drop me a line. and I felt like 2010 was the right time. So moved to Dubai, worked in Nobu Dubai for a couple of years, then moved to another position with a coffee shop called Edo. We used to sell mochi. It's a Japanese dessert cake with like a sticky rice. I'm sure you have quite a
Yes,
few
I know
mochi
that.
in Hong Kong.
Yep.
And then, we have an area called Kite Beach in Dubai, and I used to train there from 6:30 in the morning till 7:30 in the morning. Ian Spendlove, the owner of Showforce, used to train there as well. Ian has a company called Showforce, and they have branches in Dubai, in UK. We used to have an office in Qatar. And when I've lost my job selling mochi, Ian was like, "Why don't you try events? I think that you have a great opportunity. Come work for me, and we'll see how that unfolds." That's the story. That's how I got on events.
I love that evolution. That's such a great roundabout way to get into the industry. But, all of the things that you've done before obviously are, skill sets that can be applied in the event realm, service orientated and attention to detail and all of these things that you've probably built up over time apply in the event world as well,
Yeah.
And now a moment for our sponsor. The Theatre Art Life podcast is proud to be sponsored by Harlequin. Harlequin is the world leader in floors, stage systems, and studio equipment for the performing arts. Established in the UK over 40 years ago, Harlequin is the preferred performance floor for the world's most prestigious dance and performing arts companies, theatres, and schools, from the Royal Opera House to the Bolshoi Theatre, the New York City Ballet to the Royal New Zealand Ballet. Harlequin's experience and reputation are founded on the development, manufacture, and supply of a range of high-quality sprung and vinyl floors specifically designed for dance and the performing arts. Backed by an engineering team and independent research, Harlequin also designs, builds, and refurbishes stages, working with stage engineers and theatre consultants in leading venues across the world. Harlequin is the global leader in its field with offices in Europe, the Americas, and Asia Pacific. Find out more at harlequinfloors.com, HARLEQUIN floors.com.
But I also think it's very interesting from, to me, maybe as a complete outsider, but coming from a country growing up in a country that's growing up and coming out to a world that's completely crazy, and the West being the West as it is. And then Dubai also being like a baby country. I don't know, it's like a lot of exposure to different things in changing paradigm. And I don't know, your resilience must be like up there to be able to adapt to so many cultures, so many people, so many changes.
Well, to be fair, in the first, I think that the first 6 to 12 months were the hardest, because you need to adjust, and I couldn't. But different nationalities have different even sense of humor. So, like if you're working with the guys from the US, it can be one thing. If you're working with Aussies, they speak fluent sarcasm, so that can be fun as well. But it took me some time to adjust and just even understand the language, because it can be a US version or a UK version, but no one teaches you an Australian version of English, right? It's not a part of the curriculum. So it took me some time, to absorb all that and to kind of adjust. But it was fun, I think Nobu was definitely a bridge to whatever I'm doing right now, and their training, and they were very patient, very diligent, and it helped me a lot. I can tell you that for sure.
What would you say that, if people were, a lot of people want to work internationally and work overseas and don't necessarily have a lot of exposure yet to working in cross-cultural communities. What would you say to somebody in terms of preparing themselves for that? Because sometimes that can be quite overwhelming in addition to taking a new job in a new country. How does one prepare for all of those cultural challenges and adaptations that need to be made?
Well, you stay humble, and we have a saying in Russian that you don't come to someone else's church with your beliefs. So whenever you're in a different country, I think that if you're respectful, let's take Middle East, right? For example, I've been there for so long that every time I travel to any other country and I see people kissing, I just go, hold on one second. Like, well, what's going on here? Because I'm so used to people not expressing their emotions, because in this culture it's something that people keep behind closed doors, and you have to respect that. So I would definitely suggest that every time you're it's all based on the geographical location, right? So if it's a Muslim country, it can be one set of rules. If it's in Europe, it can be a little bit relaxed or different, and the list goes on based on the geographical location. So I would definitely suggest people to do a bit of research, stay humble. The locals here, for example, in Saudi, when I've asked the question, am I allowed to travel to Mecca, just because it's a holy place and I'm really interested in it. And you can see that they were a little bit, they wanted me to go, right? But at the same time, they know that me being not Muslim, they kind of pointed me in the right direction, saying that, Igor, as much as we would love to take you there, we cannot, because you're not Muslim, and you have to respect that as well. So just stay humble. Simple as that.
How does communication play a role in the way you adapt and interact with different cultures, or what are your hot tips on communication, I guess?
If you can learn a few a few Arabic, like, again, and I'm giving you an example because I'm based here, right? But if you learn a few Arabic words, it will melt everyone's heart. If you know that they just finished fasting, right? Let's say, and I've done fasting myself for 2 years, because I wanted to know what are the individuals exposing themselves. Why is it that their schedule completely change overnight, and then they sleep during the day? And when, for example, when Muslims are done with their fasting and it's Eid, and you wish a security guard here, Eid Mubarak, that means a lot to them, in my opinion. So just be aware of the culture that you're exposed to.
And how does it translate for you working with multicultural teams? Because that's right now you're in Saudi working with a team that it's, I don't know, from all over.
If it's an artist, you can always find something that works for them. When it's a Japanese artist and you say arigato gozaimasu, that means like thank you very much. They will appreciate that, and I get a lot of responses from the artists the minute that they know that I'm Russian in Russian. So it kind of works both ways, and I think that yes, there are times where English is not your first language, and there can be small miscommunications, or as such, you just have to be patient. The artists, they are always respectful, and if you find that little key that works for them, and if you're capable of breaking the ice by communicating with them, and I think it will make a difference.
In terms of all the shows that you've done thus far, what's been the standout show, your favorite project to have worked on? Can you pick one?
La Pearl took me to the next level. I think that I wasn't ready for it at that time, and I think that due to the team and due to everything that we've been exposed to, and it was such a fast-paced environment where you have to keep up. It's creation. Everything is thrown at you. You either adjust or you're behind. And you're trying to catch up. Being in an environment with all the great individuals that I mentioned previously definitely put me to the next level. Not even put me to the next level. It dragged me. It pulled me to the next level, where I had no option. If you wanted to call the show, you had to go out of the comfort zone. If you wanted to be on that training during Globe of Death, when you have 5 bikes, of course, the first time you call that training and you call for a split of the globe, no one prepares you for that. So you have to fight with your own emotions. You have to talk to the people and make sure that everything is done in the right manner. And I had a great team that was very, very patient with me. I'm still forever thankful to Philip Schlechter that gave me the opportunity, and again broke the shell, took me out of it, and said, "We're gonna go and call this show." So I think La Pearl was definitely that. There's not that many. As much as Dubai is, it has a lot of great venues. Let it be Coca-Cola Arena, let it be Etihad Arena, but all of those venues, they come with the shows that might be touring, or events that might be touring that will bring their own team. So in a way, we're 50 years ahead, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that you will get that level or that caliber of the individuals that are not touring, that are local. But I think that now with all the work that's been done by Event Lab for events like Expo, it's definitely growing the profile of local freelancers as well, local show callers, local stage management, casting team, technical teams. It's putting everyone to the next level.
You've clearly always stated that learning has been part of it, right? Like of being able to adapt. Is that something that you've always had in you, like this need to learn or will to learn? Or is that something that also came with life, I guess?
I believe that on every job, if you give 110% and you're eager to learn, it can definitely take you places. And I'm one of the examples. So I did. Unlike people who went to the school to learn stage management, I was just thrown into the deep end and learned everything on the job. Yes, giving 110% is always there. Learning is always there. That's one of the tools, because in the end of the day, you want to be like that good Leatherman. You want to be a multi-toolkit, and I know that I hate Excel, but I have to do it so I can get better. Right? So if I need to sell my soul to Devil or call Anna to do the Excel sheet for me, I'm sure she'll help me out.
Anytime.
Learning is important.
I think for stage managers, Excel is one of those things that, like, it has so much capability, and a stage manager, in the amount that they use it, will never master it. And so that's the frustration, right? Because you need to half use it and you need to know enough tools to use it all the time. But you'll never master it. And it just doesn't fit well in the stage manager psyche that you can't have that just in your pocket. I think that's why every stage manager has a love-hate relationship with Excel.
Oh, Excel is beautiful. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, but also for all to remember how to do all the formulas and everything like that, you just have to be doing it regularly. And it's not part of the core function of our job. It's there as part of our routines, but it's not there as a core function. So I'm always there going, I can't remember the formula. And everybody has their Excel go-to person. Like, everybody has that person they call when they can't remember what the formula is, I swear. So is Anna that for you, Igor? Is she your Excel help?
Well, I have to admit, yes, there were a few occasions where I pressed the Anna button.
I had all forgotten about that, but yeah, happy.
So Igor, tell us what's your most favorite thing about being a stage manager?
Interacting with different nationalities, interacting with and let it be, it's both sides, right? It's not, we're not limited to just interacting, or some of the people can look at the stage managers and then they can say that, oh, it's like herding cats, you're giving all these calls, you're making sure that the cast is there. But to be fair, the way I see it, the stage management is, it's like a bridge between the technical department and the artist, and we're just one of the mechanism that gets the things going. So I just believe that in order for you to be a good stage manager, you need to have a bit of emotional intelligence. You need to be good at the timekeeping. You need to have fun at the job, because I had my fair share of being a bad cop, at La Pearl, so I was always that guy, that would go out, and if you're late, it will be noted, and the scary part is that most probably I won't even approach you, but I will make either a mental note or a physical, and then it's going to go into the report. But again, when you evolve and when you progress, you kind of, sometimes you need to learn to close one eye, sometimes you need to, let things slide, and be sensible about it. So there's this fine line where you navigate, and sometimes you have to be strict, sometimes you have to be gentle, sometimes you have to, to just, coming from a Russian, it might sound weird, but to hug someone if they had a bad day, there's no harm in that. It's interesting. The thing that I love about stage management is that it's not, as much as we try to optimize it, but you won't be able to find a formula, because in the team there's always someone who will be in charge of timekeeping, and that kind of cascades down to the whole department. There will always be someone that you click with, and then that individual will be taking care of certain cast groups, and then there will always be someone who would be a SpongeBob, and he will know all the gossips, because everyone will come and cry on his or her shoulder, and to be fair, stage managers know everything, even what you did last night. So let's be fair, it's you can't put stage management in a box, and then go and hand out rules of engagement, that will be from 1 to 10. It changes. It changes from the gig. It changes from the environment. It changes from there are a lot of variables to it. So I would say, just try not to go into that box and try to be flexible as much as you can. And I've learned it, I think I've started very harsh at times. And then thanks to certain artists, thanks to my colleagues, I think that the only way you can change the world is to start with yourself.
He was going to change the world. If you could change before you start the world, what's one thing you would change about either your job or the industry?
I think burnout and working yourself to the ground is a big part of the industry. And I think that it's something that people need to speak up at times, but again, there's a fine line, right? All of us are freelancers. Well, most of us are freelancers, and then if you're not freelancing, you have a full-time day job, right? Which is, for example, running a show, right? So I think that event industry as such is, I think that people need to be aware of burnout. And I know that there's this drive, that when you're heading towards that finish line, you know that you're gonna breathe out very soon. You're building it up, you're creating the show, you're on the final strip, and you keep on running. And one coffee a day is not enough anymore, and then you bump it up to 2 coffees a day, and then it goes to 3 coffees a day, and then you reach situations when you run out of show blacks, and you're like, whoa, that's I've only brought 6 t-shirts to Jeddah, and it's not enough. So I think that there should be a balance, there should be a balance, and I think that it's a tricky one, because stage managers were in charge of the schedule, but sometimes things change and you have to adapt, and yes, unfortunately it will be long hours, or unfortunately, yes, you have to reblock something last minute. So I just want to share the message with the rest of the world and with the rest of the SM community as such. Just if you feel like you're on the verge of burning out, maybe you should take an extra day off, maybe if it's possible, of course, or maybe you should have break. And I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that because I went. I finished La Pearl on the 31st of May. And I went straight into Expo. I finished Expo and I went straight into this Cirque gig, So I would just reach out to everyone and say that let's just try to balance it out when we can.
Yeah, I think there is that tendency as a freelancer to you've got to take the next gig because you don't know when the next thing will come, right? And you don't want to negotiate necessarily a few days off in between because that might mean you don't get the contract. And I think also going back to your observation that it's such a malleable and evolving job that there's no set amount of tasks. What tends to happen is that that the more that you're around and the more that you're participatory in any part of the process, the better knowledge you have about the show holistically, right? So the tendencies for the stage manager to stay there from start to finish to make sure that it's all in their brain and under their wing to be able to manage it effectively. And some point there needs to be some lines drawn so that you're not overextending yourself, because the job never ends really when you're in that role. You have to decide where it ends. It's something that you have to set the boundaries on because nobody else is going to do it for you.
Yeah. Well, my wife might start doing it for me,
Yes, family can definitely do that for you. Is she with you in Jeddah too?
No. She's we just had a little one, so we were blessed with a 5-month-old Mickey.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, and she started the countdown. I'm sure she's gonna be listening to this little interview, and little shout out to the gorgeous wife. Oop, I said it.
And she's in Dubai.
Yeah, she's based in Dubai. She used to work for Emirates, but she was a part of the COVID purge. So when they let go 10,000 people, so the eagle has landed.
Well, thank you, Igor. That was a wonderful discussion on your career and your work, and I really appreciate your insights into working in the Middle East and stage management in general.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Theater at Life is a global media site for entertainment. Memberships start at only $38 per year. You can have unlimited access to our daily published articles, including entertainment news and the writings of active industry professionals, ensuring that you are always up to date on the global happenings in the world of entertainment. Become a part of the international entertainment community and join us now at www.theaterartlife.com.